I was going to say, sometimes all you need some kind of
action. You got action, buddy.
Action.
Okay, I think we're on and we are recording.
Uh-oh. We're actually recording? That's not good.
You know, Bob, actually, that's a great way to make everybody feel.
You have a story. And of course, every story is unique. So,
I will say this is probably not going to be safe for work, though. That was so good.
Well, to welcome you guys to Marvel Role-Playing Superheroes role-playing game that was invented during TSR's heyday back in 1982. We've dusted this thing off, taken it off the shelf, and we're going to give it a run for the next couple of weeks. A little known fact, the fella who did most of the writing for this game, I think his name is David Martin. David Martin is known for being the architect of another well-known computer game back in the 80s. Do you recall the Pool of Radiance box sets? He did Curse of the Azure Bonds, if you remember that one.
The gold box.
Yeah, so there's some street cred going on with our superheroes this evening. And before we jump in, I think it's helpful for the folks who might be watching this in the future to know who our cast of superheroes are. So I will start on the left, my left, with Jeff. If you could introduce yourself, your name, maybe what you look like, how you came to be, some of your cool powers, just to give folks a sense.
Life?
Well, yeah.
Yes, your real life powers.
Yes.
My name is
You
Jeff.
have amazing sarcasm.
And wit. I'm a Gemini. I like long walks on the beach.
Josh, you might be able to use the microphone so we can get you recorded properly.
That's fine.
So who are you?
All right. I'm in the form of a 8-year-old boy.
Oh, that's not creepy. That's not creepy at all.
I don't wear clothes. Okay. I'm in the form of an 8-year-old. I do wear clothes.
You really are an 8-year-old boy.
I am.
Oh my God.
I was a kind of an experiment. We don't really know exactly. The backstory is
I don't think I have
missing.
the microphone input actually.
I wouldn't say exactly missing. Might have just been forgotten.
It is classified.
Yes.
I think you're... All right.
Weapon
Well, we'll see what we can do. So you're in the form of an 8-year-old
There
boy.
was a joint venture between a military think tank and CDC. And I'm a android.
8-year-old boy, android.
They made it as an android.
Oh, like Daryl. Is your name Daryl?
I have a brother Daryl. All right, let him go. Should have studied this beforehand. Where's my write-up? And I am able to, so with some of the powers, I was officially designed as something that could go into a hazardous situation, possibly filter out pollutants in the atmosphere, filter out poisonous gases, and allowing for areas where people can come in and work.
That's actually a fitting character for you, the poisonous gas part.
Actually, no, this is sucking it in, not getting it.
Okay. I feel great about sending a child into these dangerous situations. That's great thinking on our government's part.
One of my big powers.
Well, you can get into small places then.
How old is he really? He's not 8 years old as a android, is he?
No, he's, I would say, in his early teens.
Okay.
As a
being.
yes. I have 0 fighting capabilities. I was not programmed that way. However, I was made out of lightweight. I'm made out of lightweight materials. I am very agile.
Yeah.
I am powerful in the sense that I'm strong for my weight. What else am I missing about? One of my major powers is that I can use the electromagnetic spectrum. So what I can do is I can fire lasers, a visible blue light as I can really focus that. I can heat things up with that, or I could shift that on the electromagnetic spectrum. I don't have as much control over that, so it's not as powerful, but I can still use the electromagnetic spectrum
Dr. Evil would have loved to have gotten his hands on you. And
That's pretty good. You have a weakness as well, don't you?
Do I?
Yeah, you have a limited number of uses.
Yes, I am an android, so I do have batteries. If I get close to if I used to have too many uses, instead of just getting tired and weak, I shut down. I get some lightweight, so anybody
do we
can
plug
carry
you
me.
back in for recharging?
I get plugged back in. I need electricity. I could also eat metals, and through an electrochemical process, get recharged. But that's a much slower process than electricity.
Go into device manager, stop the Wi-Fi card, restart the Wi-Fi card.
Will do.
I have to do something.
Thank you very much. And what is your name?
We are working on it.
Okay, very good.
That's a weird name for him, right?
W.E.R.A.W.
Dude, I tried this for hours.
Wow.
Okay, so our next player is Adam. Adam, who is your superhero?
My superhero is Brian Baird. Deaf from birth, Brian Baird used his family's fortune to develop a cure. Experimented with radioactive stem cells from a bat being injected directly into his auditory nerves. But a power surge at the moment of injection caused the needles to drive into his brain, causing his transformation into Batman. Because he actually transformed into a bat. He's a chiropteran, and this is Marvel, so I can use that name.
Ah.
Wow, that's a fantastic.
So he looks like what?
He looks like a bat. He's a 5 foot 10 inch, because he's kind of hunched over. He's a bat with like wings and the pointy ears and the beady eyes and everything. So people really don't like me too much. They think I'm a vampire.
Are you able to fly with the wings?
I'm able to fly, but at no faster than I can run.
Okay.
I also have sensitive hearing, and I have the ability to use sonar. Can actually send out an inaudible to human ears sonar wave and understand my surroundings based on that. I can see through that, just like a bat.
Nice. What are your powers?
My powers are matter conversion, elemental conversion. I can take any matter and convert it into any single element. The mass stays the same, though the volume may change. I have telekinesis. And being a bat, I also have energy emissions, vibrations, and kind of colored that to be the sound emission, the inaudible sound the bat can emit, so you can make it super strong and cause it to vibrate objects.
Interesting.
A little bit of flavor.
And that's very powerful, right? That's like that's an incredibly powerful...
Yes, that is a monstrous.
Good stuff. Monstrous is like the most powerful level that any superhero can have in the game.
I have your powers. I have half of Adam's sheet here.
You may want to give it back to
Is
him.
this the newest one?
No, I've got 5 different versions.
What is Brian Baird's weakness?
Brian Baird, being a bat, he also developed a sensitivity to sunlight. When he's in sunlight, none of his powers work.
Ah.
So he can't convert anything, can't move anything with his mind, and he can't shake the crap out of anything.
And would you define him as a strong individual?
No, he's remarkably weak. He has a typical strength. That's one of his best stats, and it's 5. Poor endurance, poor fighting. But through the use of his telekinesis, he's able to lift things much more than with his mind than he would normally be able to lift with his body.
Very good. And thank you. I think that's it. Now we go to Josh. Josh, what is your character's name?
Do you want the accent or not?
Yes. There's an accent. This is awesome.
Wallace Warrington III was born to a rich family and given all the benefits of his good upbringing. He developed a passion for computers and everything electronic. If it plugged in, he loved to play with it. One day while experimenting with quantum computers, a terrible mishap occurred. Weeks later, Wallace awoke from a deep coma and began manifesting mutant-like control of electricity. It did not take long for his abilities to be known to his family and friends, and he was soon shunned as a mutant. Once he had recovered, his parents cut off all contact with him, leaving him with little more than the shirt on his back. After several months of continuing to develop his powers, someone attempted to mug him and a friend, a lady friend. He instinctively responded with his newfound powers, incapacitating the foe, and the nerd was born. I do not have a clever acronym for the nerd yet.
Did he, like, start talking about quantum physics and bore the guy?
No! As his powers.
His power is to bore people to death.
His power is energy emission by touching it is electricity. I will stop your heart if you get too close to me.
So you're a taser.
He can detect energy. He can travel through wires like electricity.
Mm.
And, no, even more cool, he can reflect blows back at opponents. Wallace, much like the android, has a limited number of uses of his powers, equivalent of roughly 21.
What?
Uses of his powers.
Oh, okay.
Ah, so you have limitation of 21 uses.
Yes.
Do you intend to speak like that for the entire campaign?
Do you wish I do that?
I will give you karma if you do so. In fact,
I will do anything for karma.
add 20 karma right now, buddy. That's very impressive.
Adam's gonna spew all day. My kids love this accent. I've been working at it for weeks. What more?
It's pretty impressive.
Where's your good one?
And so you are definitely a mutant?
Yes, I am a mutant.
Okay. Do you look like a normal human? Do you have any unusual body changes or anything?
My skin is slightly off-tone.
Hmm.
But I can pass for a regular person. Usually I'm wearing a trench coat with a hat, which helps to shade things.
Which usually keeps the little girls away as well.
Do you look sunburned like, who's that, George Hamilton? Do you look a little toasted?
Very well done.
Oh, okay, very good.
That was before the transformation, though?
That is part of the transformation.
Thank you, nerd.
I need a new acronym for that. Next time.
And last but not least, rounding off our superhero team this evening, we have Mike. What superhero will you be playing, Mike?
My character's name is Max.
Hmm.
Max does not have a last name.
Wait a minute, did you think of a name?
I did.
Oh my god.
I actually came up with
first in 5 years.
I came up with a story.
Whoa.
Not wanting to improvise.
Not wanting to just wing it off the cuff as usual.
And have us name you
And have you name me 3 or 4 sessions later. So Max is a mutant as well. He was born from human parents, so he started off as a human. He got into a lot of trouble when he was younger, and we'll just call him Max. That's not his real name. He has just adopted the name Max.
Okay.
Okay. He got into a lot of trouble when he was younger, and his best friend's father, who was the state's attorney for the state of New York, managed to pull some strings and get him into the military. While he got into the military, he actually met up with one of his friends from school who was in basic training with him.
Okay.
He excelled in the military. I think it was mostly the discipline thing. And from there, he was then handpicked for a special operation, and he was handpicked by a 4-star general named Tom Jones.
Hmm.
It's not unusual.
It's not unusual. While on this mission, he was somehow trapped in a room. There was some sort of chemicals that got knocked over. He got exposed to those chemicals, and the random mix of those chemicals, most of which are still unknown, transformed him into what he is today. He does look, for the most part, like a human.
Okay.
He's got human features, but his skin is like an alligator's, like thick. I mean, like you can't almost penetrate it with anything.
So it's skin colored, but it's kind of
skin colored, but you can tell it almost doesn't look real.
There's a texture to it of some sort.
Right.
And what does that benefit give to him? What does that mean that he's got this altered skin?
Yes. So He has the ability to resist damage because of the skin, and the nature of his skin also gives him the ability to regenerate.
And
so if he, gets hit by something, or he has an amazing ability to be able to regenerate.
Wow. And how powerful is that that body resistance power? What's it ranked at?
It's ranked incredible.
Incredible. What number is that?
36.
So that's 36 out of 100, with 18 being the peak human rate.
Right.
So that means you can fall 40 feet from a building into concrete and just dust yourself off.
Dust myself off.
That's very impressive resistance.
Yeah. Like a cat.
And
I don't necessarily have to land on my feet, though.
Any other powers that
Yes.
Max has?
There was one other power that he managed to, find out about accidentally. And that is, he has the ability, a power called Rocket. Where basically he has the ability to be able to lift up to 2,000 pounds. And also the ability to travel at a remarkable speed. To be exact, 225 miles per hour.
So you can get someplace pretty quick if you need to.
Yes.
Nice. That's pretty good. And does Max have like an alter ego superhero name, or does he go by Max in like his civilian life as well as his superhero life?
Nope, he's actually just Max.
Okay.
He's actually kind of, he doesn't really exist very much in the real world, mostly because he is somewhat ashamed of what happened to him. He has changed his name to Max mostly because, he doesn't know how people react all the time. Some people don't necessarily like the mutants. He has cut off all relations with his family. As far as they know, they believe him to be dead from this mission.
Oh.
Mostly because he did not want anything bad to happen to his parents if they found out that they were connected to him in some way, shape, or form.
So he's doing this to protect them.
That's correct.
Interesting.
He does also have a weakness. Do you want me to give everybody that weakness?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So he has a weakness called energy dampening. And basically what that means is that if I don't use my powers every so often, they tend to build up inside, and they actually make me sick. Sick to the point where if I don't let them out or I don't expend that energy, it could actually kill me.
And your powers are toughness and regeneration. What was the other one? Oh, flight?
Flight. Yeah, rocket.
So you basically need to fly around and slam into things, or you die.
Right. So I guess from a superhero name, you can call me the Tank.
The Tank.
Very nice.
I was doing Wreck-It Ralph, but...
Or Wreck-It Ralph, I guess.
You just wanted to know.
I'm missing my major power sheet. The one that
excuse me, I'm not done yet.
Oh boy.
Okay, now I'm done.
But these are all mine, but you can look at it if you want.
Are you sure? I just look at it.
Pretty sure it's not.